Welcome back to Market on Close. I'm Diane King Hall. I'm in for Oliver Rennick. We want to take a look at Boeing and the aerospace sector overall. For that, we are joined now by Tony Bancroft, aerospace and defense analyst and portfolio manager, Gabelli Funds. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. So let's talk about what's the latest with regard to the scrutiny that is on Boeing this year and the whistleblower testimony that we've been watching before Congress. What are your takeaways?
Yeah, it's great to be with you, Diane. I think the big picture is, Boeing makes safe airplanes. I think there's a lot going on right now in the media, and obviously the Senate had their hearings. There have been some recent incidents with some maintenance issues, but as far as Boeing building aircraft. Let's just maybe talk about the big picture. IATA, which is the industry's trade organization, just put out their safety report a month or so ago, and stated that 2023 is the safest year on record as far as air travel. And secondly, the FAA, which is considered the gold standard of all forms of travel, hasn't had a mishap, death-related mishap. Due to a crash in 15 years since the tragic Colgan mishap in 2009. And between that time, 10 to 12 billion passengers have traveled safely on FAA-rated aircraft. And in the same amount of time, in vehicular travel, over 600,000 people have died. So no question, air travel is safe. And what makes up the majority of the FAA fleet is Boeing. 51% of aircraft in the FAA fleet are produced by Boeing. So I think all things being equal, Boeing makes very safe aircraft. Obviously, the January 5th incident was very serious, inexcusable. But in reality, aviation is dynamic. Mistakes happen. Mistakes worse than that in manufacturing have happened in the past, unfortunately. And the reality is they will again happen, but I believe that, thank goodness no one died or was seriously injured. I don't think it's a design issue, and it doesn't appear to be a criminal issue. Boeing's committed to working with the FAA. They've got this sort of 90-day out time to come up with a game plan to work on quality and safety, and we're going to find that out sometime in the end of May. And then in between that, we'll have earnings next week, and hopefully we'll get some information on how that process is going.
But you have to acknowledge that there were flaws. I mean, a panel fell off a plane. Yes, again, fortunate that it wasn't worse than what actually occurred. But imagine if you were on that plane that occurred. I know that's one plane, but there have been flaws in other planes. Where does the fault lie? Is it about Spirit Aerosystems process? Like where does the fault lie in the manufacturing process?
I don't think the NTSB has formally come out and given a conclusive answer where the actual the escape happened. They gave some quite a bit of detail around it, but right up to the point of the bolts, I don't think it's been formally released. But Boeing has taken full responsibility. Listen, the name's on the plane. It's a Boeing aircraft. Even if it came from Spirit and they made that they installed the door plug and had some issues with the rivets, which the NTSB mentioned in their initial disclosure report on it. Boeing's taking full responsibility, and I think that's part of the reason why Boeing is looking to has been in discussions with acquiring a Spirit, and that's sort of where we stand right now. I think going forward, it's going to be a good thing. It's going to be sort of like taking medicine. Probably initially, it's going to be hard to to combine the two companies and get sort of one culture. But I think in the long run, that sort of a one team culture going forward will be better for the manufacturing process and just in general for Boeing's longer term outlook.
And then in terms of where the stock is now, it hit a new 52-week low this week. It's down more than 30% this year. Are you anticipating any further deterioration in the stock price?
Yeah, I'd say, probably in the near term. I mean, I don't think earnings are going to be anything great next week. Obviously, the January 5th mishap was right at the beginning of the first quarter, and they had to pull back their deliveries and production, throughout the quarter. So, we're probably going to see some difficult numbers on the call on the earnings next week, but hopefully we'll get some incremental news as far as when Boeing's able to increase their production rate, with the FAA's overlooking them. And I think, but in the long term, I think Boeing is a great opportunity here. The thesis is intact. Commercial air travel continues to grow. It's, commercial air travel has grown for the last 70 years, and the world is just getting more connected. The experiential generation continues to want to see the world. You're getting the new improvements in leisure travel, and so a lot of good things going forward.
Tony, we'll have to put a pin in our conversation for now. Thank you for the insight on Boeing. That's Tony Bancroft, Gabelli Funds. Thank you.